guys, today I'm going to be sharing with you how I take care of my orchids. I love orchids. I have been known to kill a few, but over the years have gotten quite comfortable with taking care of them. So I want to just quickly come on here and share my tips with you. So if you're tired of killing orchids like I was before, I'm going to teach you in this video how to take care of your indoor orchids. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to have beautiful orchids and love them through the years, even when they don't have flowers. And I'm going to teach you how to do that as well. And so I'm my own testimony to that. So I've been using these tips and it's worked out for me. And as you can see, I've had most of these orchids. This one is rather new, but I've had this one with a lot, and this one which is reblooming. I've had for a while. So here are my tips. The first one is, if you are just buying your orchids, try to buy some. Like this one, when I first bought it, didn't have any of the flowers. It just had these little buds. So try to buy flowers with new buds. That way when you get them, when you buy them like this, if they're already big, they're gonna start falling off pretty fast. You're gonna think it's your fault and you might get discouraged, and it's not really. It's just that they're at the end of their season. So try to buy them when they're closer to looking like this. Then I have some tips for the light. They like indirect and bright light. So I keep mine on my kitchen island, and there's windows all around, so it's lots of light. It's bright light, but it's indirect. They're not like right in the sun, so they still get the yummy light, but not with burning them. Then you want to water about every 10 days. And what I do is I keep a watering journal of all my plants. A journal. It's a piece of paper on my refrigerator, and I just write down when's the last time I watered each type of plant, because each type of plant, if you have other plants, might be on a different watering schedule, like once a week, whereas these are about 10 days. And depending on, all my orchids have the bark chips. Some of them have the moss. I like the bark chips because I don't know, I think the moss keeps them too wet, and I was having some problems with overwatering. But you'll have bark chips in there, or you'll have moss. And depending on which ones you have, with moss, you're going to want to put more time in between. I have about like 8 to 10 days, and with moss, you'll probably do like 10 to 12 days. So when you water them with lukewarm water. I have my little notes here for you guys. And if you, a lot of people are taught that you're not supposed to leave them in water, but you do want to soak them when they're first watering. So you're going to take out, let's see, I'll use this one. So what you're going to want to do is you pull this out, and you'll see here there's nice and green. Let me bring my phone so you can see. Green roots. That's what you want. So when you're taking it out to water, make sure that's what you see is nice green roots. But anyways, you're going to water it, you're going to run the water through, and then you're going to set it in the decorative pot to soak for about 20 minutes. And then you take it back out, and then you'll pour the excess water that has drained out of the pot. This one is not a good one to soak it in because it has a hole in the bottom. I usually use another pot that I have in my kitchen. But that's what you're going to want to do, because orchids, they don't like to drown. You don't want to rot the roots, but they do like water. So because they're used to being in an environment where the water kind of sits. So you're going to want to let them sit in water for a little while when you water them, before removing them to drain them. Lukewarm water. Then you also, when you're watering them, you want to wipe off the leaves, because that keeps them healthy, keeps disease away. And then you want to mist the flowers when you can. Not a lot of water, just a little bit of mist to keep them hydrated. And so that's on watering. Then you also want to fertilize them once a month. You're going to get orchid fertilizer at the garden store, and this is something that a lot of people don't do, but you're gonna need to feed your plants, because just like everything that's alive, they need food, and it doesn't typically get that from the water that's in our homes. I think it's nitrogen that they need. So yeah, you're gonna want to give them plant food like once a month. Follow the instructions on the box of the one that you buy. Don't overdo it. I'm the type that's like kind of over nurturing, so I at first was giving it way too much. I'm like, I could take it every week. No, give it like it says on the box, and don't be afraid. It's it's usually measured accurately. And then for temperature, you want to keep them in a steady, consistent temperature. So with obviously you want to keep the AC or wherever however you climate your house at the same steady temperature throughout the year. And a little bit, below room temperature is good for them. Even though they do like steam and like humidity, they don't like it to just be hot. That dries them out and kills them really quickly. And then, so when they go through after the flowering process, you're going to be left, and here's a good example. These just started coming back, these little buds, and you can see if I turn it around, this new flower on this side, a little bit. Don't throw them away, because as long as they still have their leaves and they still have a green stem, they're still alive, and so they're going to flower at least like once or twice a year. So these just happen to be flowering now, which is why I waited to do the video now. But there are going to be times when they're not flowering and they're just the leaves are just as beautiful. So you want to keep those, and they'll come back. And then when they do deflower, I guess you can call, you're going to come a little bit down and you're going to cut above the node. And then they're going to grow new roots outside of either this node. They may grow from the bottom if they don't have, a good enough space on the stem still. But don't cut too far down, because you still want to give it place to grow on the stem if possible. And if not, it will grow from the bottom, which takes a little bit longer. So yeah, those are my tips. Those are my orchid tips. So I hope they help you. And if you do these, I guarantee you're going to have orchids that come back time after time. And just give them your love, name them, and I wish you a lot of luck. I have another video on how to take care of houseplants in general. I'll link it below. Be sure to check that video out, because I give a lot of other tips on just caring for houseplants in general. So let me know if you have any other questions. Thanks for watching. Namaste.